So in this video, we're going to go ahead and cover how to copy something from a file you may have on like a Google Drive or in your Google Classroom over to a Word document or a OneDrive file. And the reason we're doing this is because you started a life story project for this class in Google Classroom in a Google Doc, and we need to get it into Microsoft Word so we can make all the cool changes that the Microsoft program offers as we continue to learn the program and the features throughout this time in our class. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the class, and you may not have this exact class, but it's going to be pretty much the same. And we're going to talk about how to make it so that you're taking something off of your Google Drive and you're putting it into a Word document on your OneDrive. And it's just a quick copy paste. You can also like download the file and then upload it to your OneDrive if you're comfortable with doing that. But I'm just going to show how to do it like the simplest and most user-friendly way for those of us who are not familiar with creating files on OneDrive and all those kinds of things. So I'm in my Google Classroom right now, so you're going to want to go ahead and pause the video to navigate to your Google Classroom if you need to. And then I'm also inside of Office 365, and so if you aren't in that, you are going to want to pause it and navigate to that as well. So you just have them open and ready to roll. So make sure you've got those two things open before we start, and follow along with me. So on our classwork tab of our class, you should have an assignment in there from one of the weeks where we went ahead and did a life story paragraphs assignment. You can also find this up in grades as well, because it was in fact an assignment, and you should have a grades as well, and you can view that. So we're going to go ahead and go to life story paragraphs. That's what you're looking for. And that will show you the paragraph file that you created where you wrote out about yourself for me for the class. And you can go ahead and click that and it'll open it up. And I've created like a mock life story where, I just have some dummy text that I can copy and paste. So I've got my life story open in a new tab here. And that's my 5 paragraphs that I've written for the class, or whatever you have written so far. And then I'm going to go over to my OneDrive over here, and I'm just going to go ahead and create a new Word document inside of the Office 365 version of Word. And that's just so I can copy and paste straight in there. When I get into here, it's going to save it to my OneDrive automatically, which we talked about cloud computing and where that is. And I'm going to go ahead and do a new blank document here. And I'm just going to go ahead and select everything over in my Google Doc. And remember, keyboard shortcut to select everything is Control-A, and that will select everything on your keyboard. You can also click and drag if you want to, but Control-A, trust me, is pretty much one of the quickest ways to select an entire file or document. And then I'm either going to like right click and copy that text, or I'm going to go up to File and you can actually, to Edit, and you can copy it there. Or you can see here there's a keyboard shortcut called Control-C for you to copy something. When you copy something, I think this is important to know, because a lot of people are like, I copied it, but where does it go, right? And sometimes some things pop up and say copied to the clipboard. And it's kind of interesting because I have even adults ask me, well, where's the clipboard? What's the clipboard? Well, the clipboard is just a program in the background of your computer that is keeping track of what you've copied so you can paste it later on. And actually, Word allows you to look at multiple things you've copied in the past, and we'll talk about that in the future when we get to clipboard again, on how to really paste multiple things that you've had. So when you copy something or you hit Control-C, it goes into your clipboard and it's the most recent thing you've copied, and it's ready to be pasted into anything else. The difference between copy and cut, and I think this is important, is that copy just takes whatever you have, the image, the text, whatever it is, and puts it into your clipboard. But if you cut something, like if I right click cut it, it doesn't just remove it from wherever it's at, it actually copies it at the same time. So now I actually have it in my clipboard to be able to paste it. So if I were to right click paste it, it actually, I'm going to go ahead and hit Control-V to paste it. It comes up again and it goes into my clipboard, but removes it at the same time. And I see a lot of people select things and then they cut them to remove them, but they're actually not only removing, but putting it in their clipboard to paste somewhere else at the same time. So just something to kind of keep in mind with what cut is. If you're really trying to remove something, you should just use backspace or delete on your keyboard. So now that I've put it into my clipboard, I've copied it or I cut it or whatever you're going to do, I'm going to go over to my Word document in Office 365, and you can click the paste button up in the ribbon. You can right click and paste something, or you can hit, as it says, Control-V to paste it. And the reason that, you know, Control X, C, and V are copy or cut, copy, and paste is obviously Control C is copy, and the X kind of looks like scissors, and the V kind of looks like a glue stick, so like you're pasting it in, but also because they're right next to each other on the keyboard, so it's a lot easier to use. So I'm going to go ahead and hold Control down and click the V key on my keyboard while in my Word document, and it will paste that in there. And what's important to note is that the formatting actually travels with it. So if I click on it, you'll see it's Arial 11 points. One of the options under pasting, and we'll get into this a little bit more, was to keep text only or paste text only, and that's Control Shift V. And this is important because then it will paste in the text, but it won't bring over the copying. So now you can see it's not Arial, it's in fact Calibri and 11 points. So formatting counts, and we're going to talk about that because a lot of people will copy something like from the internet and they'll bring it in and it will have like 6 different fonts in it because they didn't, you know, remove the formatting as they did it, and you want things to look pretty consistent. So once you have this in here, the last thing to do is name it. So you're going to go up to the top up here where it says what the document is, and you're going to go ahead and type your last name and put a dash and put life story. And I want you to name it that way so that way we can turn it in and attach it to an assignment in a future video, so we can turn it in and continue adding to it. Go ahead and click out of that and it will save it up at the top here.